Good afternoon, Dr. Kin. I'll be talking about the research proposal on behalf of my group member, Rachel Jeffrey, which she is not available at the moment. As through the course of writing, we'll outline some of the main points in the PowerPoint presentation, which I'm going to present this evening. About the topic, assessing the challenges and constraints by government authority in promoting SME in PNG. The main independent variable is the policy instability. So I'll begin with the main outlines of this presentation. Okay, number one is, as we can see, the background of the study. Small and medium enterprise are important for creating jobs and reducing poverty in Papua New Guinea. The government has introduced policies like the SME policy 2016 and Vision 2050 to support local businesses. However, many SMEs are still facing big challenges such as lack of funding, poor infrastructure, and weak government support. This research looks at why these government efforts have not been effective and aims to suggest ways to improve support for SMEs both in rural and urban areas. We'll address some of those problems in the research. Number one, as we can see, there are 7 problems. These are the main problems in this research. Number one is the government policies to support SMEs are not well implemented. Number 2, many small businesses cannot access loan or financial help. Number 3, poor roads, power, and internet. It makes it hard for SMEs to grow. Number 4, government departments lack the skills and resources to help effectively. Number 5, there is weak coordination between different government agencies. 6, corruption and political infrastructure influence affect SME support programs. And 7, but not the least, rural and disadvantaged groups are often left out of government help. These are our research questions. By answering those research questions, it will help us understand and will address all these problems which I've mentioned earlier on. Okay, number one, we have identified the very 4 main questions in this research. Number one, how do SME owners and stakeholders perceive the impact of regulatory uncertainty? Or we can say, in other words, the policy uncertainty on the business operations in Papua New Guinea. Number 2, what are the experience of SME stakeholders regarding the implementation of government policies in PNG? And then number 3, how do changes in government policy influence the stability and growth of SMEs according to entrepreneurs and policy implementators? And number 4, in what ways do SME owners and support agencies perceive government policies as inadequate in addressing the needs of small and medium enterprises in PNG? These are some of the main questions in this research that we will try to answer those questions. We'll talk about the objectives to understand the role of the role of policymakers and regulators in our economy. The second point, to assess relationship between regulators and businesses or SMEs. Number 3, to evaluate causes of policy uncertainty in our economy. And the last, to assess from both political and business perspective of regulations and policies. Okay, this is the proposed model of this research. As you can see, the main independent variable is the policy uncertainty, which affects SMEs. And then when it affects SMEs, it affects the business environment. So that's a simplified proposal model to give us a clear understanding of what is actually happening. And we'll see the conceptual framework. As we can see, the independent variable is the policy instability or the challenges, and which, when there is an independent variable, there has to be someone or a situation, or there has to be a mediator to step in between to address this issue. There has to be an intervention, and that's when the government comes in, as we can see according to our diagram, when the government intervenes. And then the result is the dependent variable, which is the promotion and the growth of SMEs, which results in the promotion and growth of SMEs. This is a conceptual framework to give us a clear understanding. Okay, we'll continue on. We'll talk about the research methodology. We'll address the design, the population sample, and the instrument. Okay, as you can see, the type of research design is we will use the case study as our design in the qualitative research, where we get to answer how and why questions. And we'll use the participants that will going to be involved in the research. There will be two main participants, the policy makers and the SME owners. And the sampling method that we will use, which is the purposive sampling. Why we choose purposive sampling is because we will interview people that have a background understanding of this topic that we are addressing. That's why we choose this sampling over other sampling. So this is about our participants and the type of sampling method we will use. Okay, we will continue on with our research design. The next we will talk is the data collection method. We will use interview schedule as our data collection method for both of the participants, policymakers and SME owners. And data collection procedures, that's our second part of the research design. We will develop interview schedule and we will compare with other previous interviews and that were successful in this topic. And the last part is the data analysis strategies. We will compare our findings with previous and current findings on the topic so that we critically analyze our data. That's about the research design. And now we will talk about the population sample. Okay, the population sample is, you can see, as I've mentioned earlier on about the participants, these are the policy makers and the SME owners. Okay, in the population, policy makers, we will choose one representative from each 5 regulatory bodies in PNG. You know, these are the people that they are aware of policies and they make policies. So number 1 is PNG Customs, PNG Ports, IRC or Internal Revenue Commission, Department of ICT, and the National Trade Office. Okay, these are from our regulatory bodies. And from the SME owners, we will choose 5 SME owners from our main trading centers in PNG. 2 from Port Moresby, 1 each from Kokopo, Ley, and Mount Argan. Okay, what kind of instrument that we will use in the research? We will use the interview schedule as our instrument in the research. Okay, this is an outline of the budget. Okay, as you can see, the item details and the estimated cost. Okay, that's the outline of, as you can see, transport and travel, which I've mentioned about our population sample. These places it will cost us to go, so we have put this amount, as you can see, and these are just some forecast. So in the process of research, we will do some adjustment. So just to give us a picture about what will actually happen. Okay, as you can see, the other one is accommodation and meals, printing and stationery, like printing out those questions and all this, and communication cost, like we'll call using our phone or through media communication and so forth, audio recording equipment, and data transcription services, software tools, and the last is the contingency. It's like if anything, things go south and things don't turn out the way as expected, we have a plan B to, adjust from there. So that's the total budget. Okay, we'll talk about our next part is the timeline of the research. Okay, that's the milestone, activity description, and the proposed completion date. We begin with the topic approval and the proposal writing in week 1, and then we were given assurance about our ethics clearance. At research, we have to always, and ethics is a must to consider in this, about getting the consent of the participants that we are supposed and we are to interview. And this is from week 5 to 6, and week 7 and 9, that's the literature review completion. Okay, and week 10 to 11, that's the data collection preparation. We get all the data and we put them together. And number 5, the field work, which is from week 12 to 19. And transcription and data organization, week 16 to 17. Data analysis, week 18 to 20. And drafting a research report, that is from week 21 to 24. And then it comes to reviewing and editing. So this research will go on. And now what we are doing now is the proposal. So this research will continue on. And once we are done, that's where the research will come to an end. Okay, that's about that timeline. And now we have come to the last part, the very idea, that's the expected outcomes. This study will help improve policy gaps and offer practical recommendations to strengthen government efforts. The findings will benefit policymakers and stakeholders working to grow SME sector. Thank you. And I believe this brings us to the end of our video.